mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome home, family.
Yeah. Welcome.
It's your mom and dad. And I thought that today we would simply be talking about the Bachelor in Paradise reunion and the Love Island reunion. But turns out we are going to be discussing the next Bachelorette.
Yes.
We were shocked. I mean, this kind of came out of nowhere. I think it came out of nowhere. Maybe my finger is not to the pulse.
We also...
And things have been warming up into this and I've been missing it.
But also, like, when Alex Cooper is going to, like, say something, it's not like and I'm going to have a random person you don't know on my podcast.
Right.
Or even someone who was just on The Bachelor on my podcast. I mean, it's, like, generally going to be...
she does sometimes.
She does, but it's, like, it has to have been, like... There'd been drama on the show or they'd become a star, something. So the fact that she's like, I'm going to announce this person, immediately screamed, we know this person or people know this person.
Well, but also Alex Cooper did it in a way where it was like very mysterious and kind of dropped. Like, is it about The Bachelor? Is it not? So what ABC has done, if you do not know, is that they have gone in cahoots with the absolute god of pop culture herself, Alex Cooper, because Alex Cooper is in charge of the pop culture world. Now she's the one, she's the tastemaker. They have gone into the hands of Alex Cooper and said, will you announce, number one, that we're not having a Bachelor season next, because it was supposed to be a Bachelor season next. Yeah. Which, hallelujah, I prefer a Bachelorette season. Always. Are you kidding me? Cast bio, we can judge a bunch of men.
Yes.
Always prefer. But not only are we having a Bachelorette next, we are having a famous person who for the first time ever, we're not pulling from the franchise before. This is someone, an outsider.
Yeah, like you know, you're always wondering, like, are they going to pull from the outside? Is it going to be celebrity chef we know? Is it going to be someone in the movies? You know, because you're never expecting maybe
one
like
of the movie stars.
But you're like maybe somebody in a TV show that we, you know, I don't know. You're just kind of like, who's it going to be?
We've talked about that for sure. And I guess I said outsider. Technically, I'm not correct. It's not quite an outsider because we are staying in the Hulu family.
Network adjacent?
Yes, there's the ABC Hulu connection. So, family, your new Bachelorette is Taylor Frankie Paul, who is one of the cast members of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Now, I do not really know a lot about Taylor Frankie Paul. What I do know is...
Sounds like a singer from the 70s, doesn't it? Like, do you have all of Taylor Frankie Paul's records? You know, I just wanted to say that Taylor Frankie Paul is very like an acoustic guitar.
Who was the singer?
with airbrushed, like in the woods. You know what I mean?
Who was the singer that they had on the Golden Bachelorette who came for like Jordan's date when they were ice skating? Her name was no. It was for the prom date, and her name was like Taylor Dane.
Oh, there
Taylor
you go.
Dane. That's what I'm thinking of.
Taylor Frankie Paul is definitely like the first 3 albums are amazing.
Well, that's about as much as we know about Taylor Frankie Paul, that she's not a singer from the 70s. I do know her a little bit. We talked years ago on Chatty Broads about her with Mom Talk.
Yeah.
And there was the scandal of the Mormon housewife community that was potentially swinging, and she was kind of the one who brought it to light. So I know a little bit about that. But since she's been on the show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I know a lot of the family members have been like, please watch this show. The most I know about the show are the clips I've seen on the previews of The Bachelor or Bachelorette when Hakeem was viewing it. Of course. The Hakeem reactions, which if you don't think that they're going to bring Hakeem in as one of the contestants for Taylor Frankie Paul's season, you're out of your mind. They're bringing Hakeem in.
Yeah, Hakeem at this point should just be like an employee of ABC and just be like on call, like whenever they need him, because it seems like he kind of is already at this point.
Perhaps he is. I forgot that he was even on Bachelor in Paradise.
That's what I'm saying.
And they didn't have him in the reunion.
Exactly.
Anyway, off topic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Hakeem.
That's so brutal.
Oh,
they like forget he was there, and he's the only guy like not on the reunion.
There's a good people. But you know that crushed Hakeem.
I know.
Well, Hakeem's going to be on this season of Taylor Frankie Paul's Bachelorette. I can almost guarantee. Yeah. I don't know how far he'll make it, but so point being is we really don't know a lot about Taylor Frankie Paul on a personal level. But I have thoughts, and I don't want to be a Grim Reaper here because I know a lot of people are like very excited, and I don't want to be a downer.
Oh, really? You're getting a lot of buzz?
There's a lot of buzz.
Got it.
It feels like the death rattle of the franchise to me. And yes.
No, I mean, it's kind of like what happened to Paradise, where it's like halfway through they got rid of love.
And it became Survivor.
And even during the reunion, multiple people, especially like Parisa, brought up like, yeah, it was kind of like once the games became the thing and the money became the thing, we kind of all lost interest in like the relationship side of things, and it just became like survival mode. This feels kind of like that move, because you're going from one of the things that the Bachelor franchise has that's like very specific is here for the right reasons. With the Love Islands, with you kind of know the celebrity pursuit is built in, but with the Bachelor franchise, Bachelorette franchise, it's always like you kind of keep that hush and you try to kind of remember it's just about love.
Sure.
So what this does is it really changes the vibe, because it's going, okay, previous celebrity, reality TV person. So then everyone like auditioning for it, it kind of gives like I'm more here for the celebrity follower end of it. Maybe we'll fall in love. Maybe we won't. It feels like they're leaning more into that.
And from what I'm aware of, Taylor, Frankie, Paul, it's drama. Like, it's not like, oh, she's a celebrity. It's like drama, negative things attached.
Yeah, exactly. Not, oh, I was on a reality cooking show.
Sure.
And I'm just, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like I'm known for a lot of things. And so, you know what I mean? So if you are auditioning, it's like, it's not I'm just going to meet my person I don't know, and it's giving, I'm going to attach on to this celebrity.
Exactly. What type of guy is going to be auditioning for this? And also, I believe she has 3 children. So it's like, are these men going to be good stepfathers for children?
Looking to be fathers at all? Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
It just feels...
There's a lot of things going on here.
So I feel torn, because on the one hand, you and I have talked for years where you're like, you got to bring in a celebrity to get this franchise cooking again. This was not the celebrity I had in mind.
This wasn't the original vision board.
This wasn't the original vision board. I had a different sort of celebrity I had in mind for this. And now with this style of celebrity, I just don't see how love could come out of this. And as much as I like the drama, the love, like you said, is kind of what makes the franchise a little more unique in that way.
It's its differentiating factor.
So I think that they did miss a huge opportunity. I think that they should have pulled a very well-known name from the franchise if possible. A Maria, somebody pay them the big bucks, get them back on the show.
Maria would have been perfect, because she would bring the drama. She would bring a lot of excitement and fun, but she's also a normal person looking for love. You know what I mean? There's not all this like drama attached to it. So that would have been perfect. Something like that would be, I don't know. I mean, I think like you said, Death Rattle, it's giving like they're just trying something insane and we're just along for the ride energy.
Well, and it feels like, okay, so here's the bottom line. Like I said, I really don't know a lot about Taylor, Frankie, Paul, and maybe a lot of you family are like super stoked about this. And I get it, because it's like, you want to watch for the drama.
Sure.
This is a very controversial decision. So I think what ABC's doing is it's like, we're going to pick somebody who's going to bring a lot of eyes, whether you're upset or you're happy about it. As someone who doesn't know a lot about Taylor, Frankie,
like they're
Paul,
going for a controversy.
Exactly. I don't know a lot about her, but I will say when I was flipping through comments to see people's reaction, I did see that like she has like DV charges, and I'm like, this is not okay. I'm pretty shocked right now. So not to be like, you know, starting the podcast off and like, what the hell are they doing? But I'm just like, what's going on? I think what they're doing is they're ignoring all of that, they're saying, regardless of how you feel about it, you'll either be watching it, hate watching it, you'll be controversial watching it, or you're a fan of The Secret Life of Mormon Wives, which is a show that's popping off, and you're watching it because you want to watch the drama. And I think
which is all kind of, none of it has to do with love. And it has a lot to do with just like, you're either going to hate us or you're going to love us energy, and which is not, has ever been their vibe.
And I think that's what they're doing with this season of The Golden Bachelor, because we'll talk about it more next week when we dive into cast bios and the following week when we start the season. but they did not recast Mel Owens as Golden Bachelor after he said all that wild stuff about wanting some hot young woman. And I think the reason now that I'm seeing that they've chosen Taylor Frankie Paul as their lead,
they got someone new in there that's been like, we're gonna shock them. We're going shock radio.
Now that they've chosen Taylor Frankie Paul as their lead, it makes me think the reason they kept Mel Owens is because they said, well, we tried the two nice leads. Let's try getting the people frustrated. And so they're kind of hate watching it. And listen, when it comes to the Golden Bachelor, we're going to be watching and recapping, and trust and believe I will be angrily watching it knowing. Yeah. So I get what's happening, but I don't think I like what's happening. Especially when I'm hearing some of this stuff about Taylor Frankie Paul, and I need to do my due diligence and dive into this. Just got announced when we're recording this. I need to do my due diligence and dive more into her. But they're going for the controversy rage bait. Like, we're gonna get a reaction out of you. Any reaction is better than no reaction. Kind of hate is better than, not caring. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, in today's climate, they're right. The things that gets numbers pumping and stir isn't love and warmth. It's people having hot takes and big opinions. So this feels, like I said, kind of like the death rattle of the franchise. It's like, we're going to try this. We're trying this wild BIP take. We're going to leave this Golden Bachelor in, and we're throwing in this housewife who has a lot of stuff about her, and we'll see how this goes, and we'll see if the numbers peak. So,
all right, well, it's going to be a very unique experience.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed, but you know what, guys? We are going to push through. I'm a little bummed that we don't have like one great one, controversial. It's like the fact that they're both kind of like, definitely makes it, we have our work cut out for us.
Well, that we're going to have a lot of opinions. There's going to be a lot of opinions.
You're going to have heavy opinions.
There's probably going to be a lot of me ranting, and I apologize ahead of time. So
tune in to hear us go off.
Yes. And we have some things to go off about today.
Yes.
And I want to get into that, but we got to take a quick pause, family. A quick pause. So this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, we turn to some funny places for support, like apparently the best polygraph agent this side of California, right? But not everyone is a therapist. Not everyone is the one. I mean, listen, we've all done this before. Asking a random stranger for life advice. I did it a few days ago in a public bathroom, actually, and she was a great time. But as fun as they are to talk to about everyday topics, when you're looking for help about relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not have all the right answers. Instead, get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. Therapy changed my life for the better, and BetterHelp has been helping people find their match for over 10 years, and they have a 4.9 rating out of 1.7 million client session reviews. So find your right match with BetterHelp.
Yeah, you all know therapy changed my life as well, helping me process so much, to find boundaries, improve my self-love. It's been huge in our relationship too, and I'm so grateful for it. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 10 plus years of experience in industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time for their tailored recs.
And these are quality therapists. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. Something I love about BetterHelp is how flexible and convenient they make it for you to take care of you, which is huge. It's fully online, which major flexibility. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, which helps you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, again, you can pause your subscription whenever you need to and switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/momdad. That's better, HELP betterhelp.com/momdad. But anyway, family, sorry to start off on like a wham wham note, but I know, and everyone's super like, woo, excited, like this is crazy, which it is. This is a monumentous occasion.
Yes.
And it's never happened before. So, I don't want to like take like the whoa out of it.
Right,
but
right.
I can't lie to you. And when I hearing these things about her, and I don't know, I was really hoping that it was going to be like Susie or Maria or someone that were like, oh, hell yeah. Like, someone from the franchise.
Because there's something to, if it's related to the franchise and people do know, then it's like, I've always had a crush on her. I remember I watched her season. I was like, oh my God, I'm looking for someone like that. And then you get to meet someone like, you know what I mean? Like that's a way that you kind of introduce quote celebrity without.
Or someone from another love show, because I remember which I think no one really believed this would happen, but the circulation was Amaya Papaya.
There you go. That would have been
insane. Can you imagine?
That would have been out of pocket.
Can you imagine Amaya Papaya as our Bachelorette? The ITMs we would have been served. The love, the absolute delicious, wonderful sweetness. And she's there so for the right reasons.
You couldn't be more right reasons.
It's like, that's what I'm talking about. Amaya Papaya would have been.
That would have been very funny.
And honest to God, I feel like she'd do it.
Oh, 100% she'd do it. I feel like
she'd do it. She's here for love.
Yes.
I came here for love.
All right.
Let's get
into this.
Yes, which we'll be discussing because today, family, we are going to be talking about the Bachelor in Paradise reunion. And then we are finally getting to the Love Island reunion.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking like hot moments, big moments in both of these reunions.
Because obviously so much has changed. It's just like, what even happened?
And then also in the Love Island, maybe talking about some of the current things that are going on, where the couples are at now, actually,
some final moments there
since the reunion.
Okay.
But remember to tune in next week, because next week we are doing cast bios for the Golden Bachelor, which is, our favorite time of year.
I mean, it's our quarterly Christmas.
It really is.
Yes.
And very much looking forward to that. So tune in next week. Let's do Bachelor in Paradise reunion big moments first.
Yes.
Can we do the BIP reunion
we want to do
first?
big moments and then get down to the small moments? We got to go big moment. What do you think? What big moments first, okay?
No, I mean like Bachelor in Paradise before Love Island.
Sorry. We're going to go big moments and then we're going to get into the smallest moments.
What I meant, I'm working, like you all remember, on trying to package what my thoughts are.
Yes.
And I know sometimes it's hard to understand what I'm.
Real quick, just side note, the other day I saw her writing an email and I thought, that was insane. Like, I saw the first email. It was an email sent to both of us regarding like an Ember School thing. And it was like, hey, remember the da-da-da-da. And it was like, all that needed was, sounds great, got it. Instead, it was like 7 and I'm like, what's he possibly in there? And it was just like, thank you so much for your time. And I was like, babe, that is so much work. You need to learn to package these things in small. But you know what? That's also what makes her charming and beautiful and amazing and sweet and everyone loves her. So listen, I guess that's the okay. Can we get back to podcasting? I apologize for that.
Oh, it's just crazy to be, family, it's crazy to be almost 40. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 37. I like to say almost 40 because people go, "Wow, you 40?" No. But it's crazy to be almost 40 and realize that like a lot of times people aren't understanding what you're saying, or like you can't package, or you're rambling and you never realized until like the past 6 months, and then you realize that you're a podcaster and people like aren't following what you're saying and you're like, what is my life even?
How am I doing this?
I'm having an existential crisis.
It's absolutely.
What I meant was, let's talk about Bachelor in Paradise first and go over just only the hot topics.
Fantastic.
Sound good?
Good.
Perfect. So what was I going to say?
That character you just played fucked you up. You're like, oh, I don't even know where I am now. It was so unnatural.
This is how I wanted to start this off. Okay, so we did get some juice in this BIP reunion.
First 30 minutes, I was scared.
Snooze.
I was like,
fest.
Everyone's just like, we had so much fun and it was a great time. Ha 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 ha. Remember that last night we had a drink together? And it was like,
blah, blah.
I was like, I'm going to put this on the background while I start to clean or something. I literally, and then all of a sudden, it took off, and I was
We
like,
got
here
some
we go.
juice. We got some
absolutely
juice.
got some juice.
But what I would like to say to just the franchise in general, are you spending all your money on Taylor Frankie Paul being the Bachelorette? Because the setup, Evan,
I mean, just open mics and just even just a podcast in general. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, just on a listen, no hate to any podcast. It was just more like, it was just kind of like they threw a bunch of mics in a room. Everything's loud. You can't hear anybody. It was just crazy. It was like,
that's all I'm saying. I love the concept of doing it on a podcast where there's not the editing.
Right.
Well, they did a lot of editing because
you'd see like people laughing all of a sudden, and you're like, what just happened?
But I like it feeling more free. You can swear. You can it can be endless amount of time. You can get in. You're not bound to the rules of the network.
You're feeling a lot less pressure.
I do like it on the podcast.
Agreed.
But if you're going to do it on a podcast, make sure the sound's working, right? Set the mics up accordingly. Make sure that your cast isn't talking the whole time while people are answering questions.
Yeah, it was...
Get numerous cameras so that when you do cuts, it doesn't look like a radical cut in the middle. Like, what are they removing?
I'm not trying to hate it. It was janky, though.
It was
crazy.
I'm sorry to
and
whoever
then even when
put
you're
it
just
together.
listening to it, like on the phone, it was like hiss the whole time. Like, it was loud. It just sounded like they were doing it in like an airplane hangar. I don't know. It was a little unhinged.
I'm just like,
everyone has different mics too. You notice that? Like, there was different styles of mics. So everyone sounded different. It was just insane. But whatever.
I feel like a little more planning ahead of time. This could have been really dialed, because I did actually end up really enjoying this reunion because of some of the juice we got out of it.
Yeah.
Another big surprise to me during this reunion was Wells. Wells was so like love buggy.
I know.
And like, hey, let's just be kind to everybody. And I'm like, who is this guy who typically
like
is...
they put you as the host because you are a shit stirrer on the show.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're just like, all right, guys, let's move on from that topic that's actually happening right now and is very controversial. It was like, you were the guy that would be like hating on people the whole time.
And he kept saying over and over again, like, let's show grace, let's be kind.
Like, maybe he read some comments and he was like,
which I don't disagree with him.
I agree, but it was like, that's not why they brought you in.
I just felt like typically on the sand, well, you're kind of a grump and you're
100%.
kind of coming for people.
And we were actually excited for him to do the reunion because we were like, oh, he's kind of built for this.
He'll be a little more ruthless.
And then he switched up on us.
I don't know what's going on.
All right, let's get into some of these topics.
Okay, but so first, like right out the gate, kind of what they covered is where everybody's at now, right? Like Alex and Andrew, they're doing good, they're cozy. Spencer and Jess, apparently she's going to be moving with him to Dallas, but I did have a giggle moment because all I could think about was how you are really, just putting a water on the flame of how I love these two together. I think they're adorable. I think they're so in love, but you keep having this thing where you're like,
don't come at me like that. It's just like, I just think that whenever you're starting in that place where someone's like 10 out of 10 over heels and then someone like pulls back and is a little freaked out by it all, I generally go, it's really hard to come back from that in my personal opinion, because it's like the one person's going to get slowly sadder and sadder because the other person's not at their level. And then the other person, and so it's like up to him how this goes.
Well, it sounds like they're going to be moving in together.
So it's not like he's doing a great job.
But it made me giggle because she's not wearing her ring.
Exactly.
And I just
why wouldn't she be wearing her ring? And she didn't. And they were like, "Why aren't you wearing it?" It's like, ha ha.
She said that it needed to get fitted.
Yeah.
But it made me laugh because I was like, didn't we have like a few months?
Yeah. Needed to get fitted. It says we're undoing that.
We're going a little slower.
We're going back to just like dating, which is understandable. I think him proposing was wild. I don't think he should have done it.
It just made me laugh because it was just like on track with what you were saying.
Exactly.
We find out that, Brian Parisa, though they left together, they are no longer together. These two, something went down.
Yeah, I mean,
something went down and they decided that they weren't. Something went down and Brian's like calling her being like, let's not go there, because you could tell she was like,
we just have different opinions on what a relationship should be. Like, what does that even mean? That's her trying not to talk about the issue.
And Brian was just like, oh, we're fine. We're
best friends.
We're really close, even though like, we didn't end up working out. And Paris is just looking at him like, yeah, right. And then when they ask her, she's just like, There were just things I wasn't privy to, and we're different people.
Almost made it sound like he had a food allergy I was not aware of.
Yes,
it's
and you're like,
it was definitely some shit was going on.
You saw her face, and you saw that Parisa was being very gracious to not maybe go
Which
there.
she was the whole time.
Which Parisa's always gracious. She's just an angel, and I'm so happy for her that she said she's in a relationship with a new person. But Brian was sweating the whole time,
he was.
and when they would go to Parisa, he'd be looking at her like something
please,
went down.
Remember our agreement?
Something went down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I heard him, I remember he mentioned at some point, like, oh, we were busy, live in different places. I'm opening my restaurant. And I'm like, didn't know you had a restaurant. Thought you were the Botox guy.
Yeah.
But, now he's probably starting to chain Brian's
bagels, Brian's
bagels, Brian's whatever. And
burritos.
He's going to be, maybe chatting it up with some other ladies. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something went down.
It was a weird vibe.
Something went down. Leia and John, obviously, they're like BFFs though. Now they're like best friends, and everything's good to go. And they were talking with Jonathan for a while about like, hey, would you want to go back? And they had an interesting conversation with Jonathan at the end of the reunion, where he basically was like, I just wasn't in the right headspace because they gave me so much they announced me so early. And I was really liked on the season that I was in my head and people had high expectations. And so I put expectations on myself, and nobody was there that like I connected with, and I'd go on again. And Andrew compared it to his story. And my thing with Jonathan was that I was like, listen, I can't imagine being in his shoes. And I totally get you're not going to connect with some people and your head's in a different space. But it was always just more like with Jonathan, but you did lead some people to believe that you were maybe interested in them and you weren't. And I think that was the issue. I don't think people were upset that you didn't find a connection. Right. No one can blame someone for not finding a connection. I think it was a little bit like, but you did maybe lead some people on and then kind of pull the rug out.
Yeah, he was like trying to force a connection for himself, and it didn't work.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Allyshia and Sean, this was a confusing one.
Very excited they were back.
Of course.
So they were there because they did not disappoint at all with the absolute deranged behavior that they both, you know what I mean? So it was just, and that's what I like to find out that like they weren't playing a role, that it truly is them.
Oh yeah.
Or the role is them, or they are the role, or their method. I can't tell what's going on, but either way, they're by themselves in this bizarre world they're living in, and everyone else is kind of like doing the similar thing, and they're living in wild land out there. So they brought it.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the Sean and Allyshia moments. But them as a couple was a strange thing because
she said, I will never risk my career for a heterosexual man.
And all I could think about was Sean's dad is mad hearing that back at home. He does not like hearing her say that.
Yeah, you know what wrecked Sean to be like every time it mentioned them together, it was just she was just kind of like, well, yeah, but everything else in my life is going great. But please, there's no chance there. And he's just like, everything's fine.
But I just was confused because they left together.
Yeah.
And then on this reunion, I felt like they didn't really give a direct answer of whether they were together or not.
Oh, they're 100% not together.
Well, like a day later, they announced that they're not together. But I'm saying on the reunion, I felt like, correct me if I'm wrong and I missed this, but I was getting they were trying to soft break up on the reunion. Like they wanted to go in as a united front and say we're together to like have that kind of clout. But it not be this direct, like we are together, so that when they ended, it wasn't like you guys were lying about it.
Oh, yeah. Because I just got the thing that they hang out a lot and talk about what they were going to do on the show.
Right. Well, because Wells was like, "Oh, I hosted you guys at my country club," and I was like, "Is that a joke or is that so out of control
weird.
true?
Yeah,
like you guys are at country clubs together. Like, could it be more accurate to what we thought it was going to be like?"
Yeah.
But. I don't know. He then said it was a good run, but that I thought at first I heard them say that they were still together, but the career got in the way. They walked away best friends. I don't know what they were saying, but anyway, they're not together anymore. No. Surprise, surprise. Jeremy and Bailey, they are still very much together, traveling all over the world. She's going to be moving in with him. We'll talk a lot about those two. And then Dale and Kat also absolutely seems like they're cruising. It was a lot of Dale. I mean, this entire episode was a lot of Dale giving very much motivational speaker, multi-level marketing CEO speeches where I was like, what exactly are you saying?
He was just trying to kind of just like calm everything down. I just don't no drama. I don't want any controversy. I won't say I don't like anybody. I won't speak up. I won't bring all the energy I had on the show to this. Now I'm just gonna be like, hey, it's all good, man. I know you tried to break me and my girl up. Hey, man, it's all good. We're friends now. And it's like, that you definitely aren't. You're just Mr. Let's not have drama.
It was interesting because between these men, something I noted before we get into specifics is that nobody was willing in this episode to just be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Or I made a mistake.
Dale got close with like the rosé comment when he's like, I had a little bit too much rosé and I said dead it a lot. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of his like big apology.
That's what I'm saying. Everything was given. They kind of started to apologize, but it was all an excuse follow-up. Yeah. Dale was like, hey, it was the rosé. Yeah. You know what? It's actually because I really care about Kat. That's why I responded the way I did, because I actually care about her. Jeremy was just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have said this, but ultimately you guys didn't see our love story unfold. Sean was just like, hey, I just thought it was Survivor. And yeah, did I actually really have the receipts? No, but like you all know it's true. Yeah. I mean, it was just so much of like, I'm not going to just say, yeah, I'm sorry. That wasn't great.
Because I think I truly think they don't believe they were that wrong. You know what I mean? Like Jeremy and Dale not apologizing for anything, like the least shocking thing on planet Earth.
True.
Right?
True.
And then Jeremy over and over just saying like, I already did apologize. You know what I mean? That's a classic sign for like, I'm not sorry, but I've been forced to like save face. So I did it. So what else do you want from me? Anyway.
Okay. I want to get into the specifics, and actually, I want to get into Jeremy.
Love it.
I want to get into Jeremy. But we're going to take a quick pause, family. So we watched double reunions, which means we saw a lot of gorgeous gowns and gorgeous hair. But listen, if you are dealing with hair issues like thinning or shedding, but feel totally stuck on what to try next, I get it. Like same. For many years, most of you all know about my hair struggles, but there are so many products out there and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That is exactly why I gave Nutrafol a closer look. It's not just hype, it's physician formulated, clinically tested, and even recommended by dermatologists. So I had heard many people, including family and friends, raving about Nutrafol for a while, but I was like, we'll see. I'll try it for myself. And I am so glad that I did. I started Nutrafol over a year ago, and within, I'd say 3 to 4 months, my hair was actually growing, which for me is a huge deal. It was actually growing. I had way less shedding. My hair was getting thicker and stronger and shinier. And now, boom, I have this head of hair that I never thought I would ever have. Like, genuinely, I never thought I would have this. And it's all because of Nutrafol. I am Nutrafol's biggest fan and forever grateful. I recommend it, I think, every single day of my life. Okay. And it's not just me. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people.
Yeah, and you can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF Contents certified, the gold standard and third-party certification for supplements. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy using a variety of hair measurement tools like their hair counts, pull tests to assess growth, quality, shedding, and texture. I've been blown away by seeing Jess's results happen in real time. I mean, seriously, it really is incredible. And not just hers, Jess has recommended Nutrafol to some of our family members, and I've watched their amazing results as well. Nutrafol is incredible.
Yeah, we have some close family members who are like Nutrafol's biggest fans now as well, because the results have been amazing. It's incredible. And adding Nutrafol into your daily routine is simple too. Purchase online, no prescription required, automated deliveries, and free shipping. keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free one-on-one naturopathic doctor consults to support you on your hair growth journey, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. I mean, Nutrafol is simply the best. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code MOMDAD. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code MOMDAD. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code MOMDAD. Okay, let's talk about Jeremy, because in my humble opinion, the two big things we really need to talk about, the juice. There was a like we said, there was a lot of the 30 minutes, a lot of kind of, well, we love each other and we actually really liked this process and we're best friends and The two big juicy things were everything surrounding Jeremy. And then the Sean and Allyshia versus Kat and her potential question mark boyfriend. So let's hit Jeremy first. The first thing I would like to discuss about Jeremy is his hatred for the Goldens. Family, I know that when we covered these episodes and Jeremy would make comments in the ITMs, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying those things. That's so fucked up. But there was still a part in the back of my mind that was like, maybe it's his very dry sense of humor. He hated them.
You know, I think I figured out what it is.
That was crazy.
But I think I figured out why he hates them.
Why does he hate them?
He doesn't like being talked down to. And I think he feels that way from the Goldens. Like,
you mean
you know how they're constantly, well, we're older, we have more life experience than you, so we have wisdom. He hates that.
So like when they gently and lovingly like give him advice, he's like, don't talk down to me.
Exactly. I think he looks at it like, just because you're older than me doesn't mean you know anything. I honestly feel like that way because they would kind of consistently do that, and I would always notice like that's when he would be the most irritated, and he never was like, oh thanks, but he was always annoyed. So first of all, I think it was a combo of like, you're taking up spots for more people that I'd be interested in,
more hot babes,
and also I don't like the fact that you're like trying to like sun me.
Oh, okay.
And I think he hates that. You know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I got. Was
it's a
like
pride thing.
Well, that's his thing in general, right? Is like he's super ego. So it's like the fact that like just because you're old doesn't mean you know shit. Energy. That's what I kind of was, because I sat on it for a while. I was like, why would he hate them? That's kind of a weird move.
It's crazy.
It's also like just not like, it's like check the temperature. It's weird to just be like, I hate these old people. Like, right? Like that's super weird. And then he's like, I never said I hated you. I just said like, I want you to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, whatever. But so that's kind of my take on that, was like, he's really like, you're taking up space, and I hate that you're trying to like Kathy mother me. Now I will say it is funny they put Kathy on, just because Kathy by far is just the most a lot.
Sure.
So it was I think it was very smart for her to be on there.
Well,
Because I guarantee you she's his number one least favorite.
Yeah,
because
even though he said he
so
liked them.
much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, if you're gonna be old, be in the corner.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And she's the opposite.
Thank God they had her on, because these men needed some Kathy moments where Kathy goes, excuse me. Like, she was the only one who was like calling out some people. I'm like, good. You know what? Sometimes I can be like, Kathy, let's not talk about the wine and alcohol quite as much. But in this case, Kathy brought it to this reunion because she was calling out some people who needed to be called out.
Agreed.
But when she made that comment to Jeremy and was like, you had the opportunity last night. This is, by the way, what made me laugh, side note, even harder, was that Keith, who's very like sensitive, kept joking about how much Jeremy hates him, and you could tell that was Keith's way of being like, no, I know you really hate me. Yeah. Like, because Keith isn't wired like Kathy, where Kathy will look direct and then all of a sudden be like, hold on, Jeremy, you had the opportunity to say that you cared about me and you said you hated me. Keith just kept bringing it up. He brought it up like 5 times. He's like, yeah, well, minus Jeremy who hates me. It's like, right, because he knows it's not a joke. Yeah. Like, Jeremy hates them. And then the way that Jeremy responded to Kathy being like, hold on, do not put words in my mouth. Right, and I'm like, oh my God, like this man hates to just like outright be like, so ageist that you're like,
Yeah.
I hate the Goldens. Not like
Not
I don't.
given a reason. Like I struggled with these two people. They were
Exactly.
it's like just to be like I hate you because you're old. Basically.
Not like I don't like these specific people. Just be like, I hate the Goldens.
Old reminds me we're closer to death. I don't like being around that. That's what it kind of feels like, you know?
And what I was getting fed up. Ooh, I was getting a little spicy. Is this whole Jeremy thing where everyone's like, you guys, it's his sense of humor. It's dry. You don't get it. Hey.
What sense of humor? 0%. That guy has no sense of humor.
I think he does. I think he's very dry.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, he's a human. I'm just saying, like, he's not Mr. Funny Guy. He's not Mr. Humor Guy. It's like...
I think that, like, I can pick up on sarcasm pretty well. I think I enjoy dry senses of humor. There is a difference between someone who has a dry sense of humor and someone who uses their dry sense of humor as an excuse to say things that they mean that are mean. And I think that's Jeremy. Jeremy just...
A lot like how we see later when it says, I'm just speaking my truth.
Yes.
And then someone's like an asshole. And it's like, okay, maybe your truth is that you're an asshole. Like, I don't, like this weird, like, if I just say I'm speaking my truth, I can get away with saying anything I want.
Exactly.
And should have zero consequences for it. You know what I mean? No one should be able to get mad at me for what I say if it's my truth. And it's the same with him. No one should be able to get mad at me if it's just my sense of humor.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like,
joking.
I don't know, man. Like,
and you're like, no, you meant what you said, but you just then said it in like a quote unquote humorous way, but you meant what you said. And also I want to just like add is moving on a little bit is like the best thing that could have happened to Jeremy was the drama with Andrew. Because what it did is he masterfully, quote in quotations, took responsibility by apologizing about what he did or whatever, just enough so that he could hide behind the drama with the Andrew and the other friends not telling Bailey and all this so that he can escape it going, I apologized. But really, who are the culprits here? The people who are the really bad people are the friends, are Andrew's tweet, are, you know what I'm saying? And then he was able to sit back while Bailey defended him, basically, and Bailey had to go on the attack against everyone else. So now it's like us versus them energy. We're alone out here. They didn't have your back. I just made a little tiny mistake, but it's really them. And then it became everyone else having to defend themselves. Yep.
Which was very interesting.
Well, I wrote down something similar like that because the energy that I got through this.
Yeah.
And again, sorry if I'm wrong. I'm not a doctor, but the vibe that I was getting was it made me really sad when I heard that Bailey was getting a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And when Bailey got emotional, I felt really sad. Because if you look at what went down on this show, Bailey does not deserve any hate.
Right.
Bailey got blindsided. People weren't communicating with her. The only thing that people could get upset about was like her not immediately telling Parisa, but I completely understand. Look at what she's in the middle of. She's trying to juggle 15 things. She's like, I just needed a moment. You know, the fact that Bailey's getting hate made me feel sick.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where it's like, but let's think about why you're getting hate. Bailey, it has nothing to do with you. You're getting hate because of Jeremy.
Yeah.
But now you're attaching yourself to Jeremy, who's getting all this hate because of his behavior during the show. But like you said, he's getting away with hiding behind her and being like, well, the friends, they didn't say anything. I'll do the small apologies, just like you said. So it was like watching this was like, oh my God, Bailey's hurting. She had this friendship with Alex that was really sweet. And because of the Jeremy drama, their friendship crumbles. Her friendship is crumbling with numerous people on the cast because of the Jeremy drama. He's the issue.
And he just keeps leaning back. You know, she keeps going farther and farther back. Like he was behind her.
He was like shrinking behind
from the camera
her.
almost.
And it's like Bailey, and then she's dealing with all this hate and getting all this shit after the show was airing and while it's airing. And it's like, oh my God, it's because I'm like, Bailey, it's because people don't like Jeremy. It's not because of you.
Right.
It's not because of you. But all I could think about was the way that we've seen Jeremy move, even the few comments where, you know, he would kind of randomly be like, yeah, by the way, Dale, Spencer, thanks. The only ones checking in and like glaring. He's a bitter guy.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can imagine as this show's airing, the way that he's then discussing things with Bailey, it's like his his issues, the way he responded after her date with Andrew, the way he called Susie get smaller and smaller while he's talking with her behind the scenes about, look at what all these other people are doing to us. And it kind of is like an us against the world thing. And I'm like, no, Bailey, like, we all love you. We all love you. Please stop sending Bailey hate. Like, we love also just, sending anybody hate in general. It's like, we're on our own platform. You be on your own platform. You rant about, whoever you want. Don't send people messages. Yeah. But I'm seeing Jeremy out there looking for it because he's in the comments of all these videos making comments. Like, he's looking for it. And I'm just like, no, Bailey, we love you, Bailey.
Yeah.
And it just was bumming me out seeing like her friendships fall apart. There being all this stuff, and it's like, who's the guy? It's Jeremy.
Yeah.
And he's getting away with all of it.
Yeah,
he's getting away with all of it.
Yeah. Well, because he has scapegoats. You know what I mean? With all the other friends and people, listen, I did make a mistake, but it was a stressful time, busy, and we weren't that close yet. And I felt, it was stupid of me, but I will say, what's a lot worse is your friend's not telling you, and then you're off of my mistake, and you're blaming everyone else, and now he's thanking people for supporting him. And it's just, listen, manipulation feels like the word, I guess, but it just feels like really good at getting it off of him, getting the ick off of him onto everyone else. So that you have, listen, did the girls mess up? Did the friends mess up not telling her? Was the tweet with Andrew not cool? Yeah, but it's like, again, it all starts from like, you putting your friends in this awkward position, or like your guy putting your friends in an awkward position where they're like, do I say something? Do I not say something? I don't know. I'm friends with him. I'm friends with her. Like, if all this, again, it's like, it's not everyone else's fault when they see the partner cheating at the bar, and then they're responsible to like, should I tell my friend? Should I not? I don't know what to do. That I don't want to blow up her life. It's like, again, it's the cheater's fault. It's not everyone else's fault, So.
And sorry for the pile-on, but like, there were a couple moments then too that I was like, dude, the comment when Jeremy was talking about the Susie call that he referred to, that he said,
the other girl,
I went on that date with the other girl, and kind of laughed.
That was crazy.
Super disrespectful.
That was crazy.
That was super disrespectful.
That's like him putting the blame somehow on maybe like even Susie, or just kind of like shit talking Susie,
seem
like
smaller.
Like I would have never even liked her anyways, like that vibe.
There was that. There was a moment where Bailey started to say something, and he kind of was like, we'll talk about that when I'm done with this.
Exactly.
And there was also the moment too when Sean snapped at Kathy and told her that she's fucking whatever.
Oh, respectfully, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Jeremy's laughing.
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
like, I'm sorry, but I had my eye on you, my guy. I had my eye on you, bud. And
I know, just like
I'm like, sorry for the pylon, but I know that again, people can be misconstrued on television and editing and all that, but like
he's consistently one way. Like
no.
At some point, you can't edit everything. It's like,
so that's how I felt. But discussing the Susie call, so then the drama that came from that is that obviously, as an audience, a lot of us were like, why the heck, including us, why the heck did these other people on the show not tell Bailey about that Jeremy had called Susie? And Allyshia is like, put your hands up. You all knew about it. You all knew.
You don't have power here. Can you stop this?
And Spencer was like, here's the bottom line. We are hearing rumors 24/7. We don't know what's true, what's not true. And so at a certain point, you stop caring. You stop focusing on other people's drama, and you start focusing on your own with the person in front of you, and you don't know what's true. I get that to a certain extent, but I will still stand by the fact that after it all went down and Brian did spill the tea, everyone was defending Jeremy so hard, and that wasn't one of my biggest issues with it. That it wasn't even like you didn't tell Bailey. It was after Bailey found out, all of you guys were like anti-Brian having shared it with her and going to bat for Jeremy. That was the sus thing to me, even beyond. Because I get what Spencer's saying about like, hey, it's a rumor, you don't know for sure. And then, of course, we had Alex, who said, I've known Jeremy for a while beforehand. We were good friends. I knew he was interested in Bailey going in. And then he told me about the phone call with Susie, and he told me that he had taken care of it with Bailey. Jeremy denies saying
totally
that.
Not, and then made it like a war of words. Like, you misunderstood what I was trying to say. It's like, no, dude, you know what you were doing. She took the message. You tried to get her off the scent, so you didn't have to deal with it. Like he was fighting over like exact wordings and shit.
And he
it's just
probably, knowing Jeremy, he's a smart guy. He probably worded it in a way that did make
could
it
be
sound,
denied later kind of thing.
Yeah, that made it sound like it's getting taken care of, where it's like, okay, it hasn't yet, but it's going to get taken care of. And if I'm going to believe anybody in this, I believe Alex.
Yeah, why would Alex randomly? I mean, like, Alex isn't that type. She's not like, and I'm just going to lie about this random fact. It's like, she was surprised that he denied it. She was kind of like, oh, what? Oh, yeah, you did. Like, it was, you know what I mean? It was almost like, it's undeniable. How are you denying this kind of thing? So.
And, that's then that unfolded. So, of course, Bailey and Alex are fighting.
Yeah.
Because Bailey feels really hurt by Alex not telling her.
Yeah.
Alex is saying, I thought Jeremy told you to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I thought he was my friend.
Right.
And I get why Bailey is hurt by Alex and everybody else. Of course I get why Bailey's hurt.
Bailey's in that middle ground where it's like really tough.
And then when you're hearing from your boyfriend, Jeremy, like, oh no, Alex isn't telling the truth. I never said that to her.
Yeah.
I was going to have this private conversation alone with you and and that doesn't seem like a good friend. It's like, of course it's going to get Bailey feeling more hurt. You saw her pain when she was crying through it. It sucked.
It sucked. It's like, I got this boyfriend that like, I feel like I can't totally trust. And then my friends didn't really come through for me. Maybe I thought we're not as close as we thought, so I burned my bridges on both sides. Yeah. It just sucked.
It just sucked.
You felt the loneliness there.
And then we had Andrew, who, whilst the audience watching, was very upset about the players on Paradise not having shared with Bailey.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people sent a lot of hate Alex's way.
Yeah, sure.
So Andrew, being Alex's lover, was like, I will come to my fair maiden's rescue and I will defend her honor. But Andrew goes out and puts up this tweet or Instagram post that basically is like, well, and then just points the finger at Bailey and is like, well, Bailey didn't say anything to Parisa about Brian's note and you guys aren't coming for her. And I'm like, Andrew, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Like, you can post and say, hey, please stop coming for Alex. Like, the truth will come to light. Alex thought Bailey knew to a certain extent. He could have done that. Or
That's the classic, like, boyfriend makes it worse by trying to do better. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, it's the classic, like, did that guy just say something to you? Oh, he just said, hey, how's it going, sweetheart? And then I got in a fight with him. Now I'm in jail. And it's like, okay, well, now it's worse. You know what I mean? Like, can you just chill?
Totally.
All we had to do was leave.
Totally.
It was giving that energy where it's like, go online and doing a controversial statement is not going to help me. No one's going to, you know what I mean? It's just going to cause more drama.
And then Andrew saying to Bailey, hey, I didn't do that because I was upset at you.
Yeah.
I did it because I was upset at Jeremy. And I'm upset that Jeremy didn't step in for Alex, who is his apparent friend, and try to take the heat on more himself and say, hey, you guys, if you're going to come for somebody, come for me. And I'm like, I hear what you're saying, Andrew, but you 100% came for Bailey. You didn't come for Jeremy at all. If you're going to make a post, make a post about Jeremy. Why are you coming for Bailey's actions with Parisa?
Dumb. And also super weird that they're like hanging out in Chicago together.
I know.
And then all of a sudden it's like 2 months later, they're on the show and they're like hating each other. I'm going like, whoa, like I can't tell. Is this all like a fake at this point? Are you guys just using like, it's so weird to be like so cool with each other or even like, and just be like, all that time could have passed where they were talking. And then a month later they're on the reunion and they're like, by the way, F you. It's like, whoa.
But think about this. All this drama started after they saw what happened on the show. So they're friends. They leave the show as friends. Again, apparently Jeremy and Alex are good friends.
Yeah.
They leave the show as friends. The four of them hang out as a couple. Then that episode airs. Alex starts getting a bunch of hate and Andrew's upset. Alex is hurt. Jeremy just starts going into the comment section and basically telling everybody that they suck, coming for like content creators who have a problem with him. Yeah. He's not defending the people and saying, hey, you know what, you guys point the finger at me. I'm the one who didn't tell Bailey, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's then where, and then now they're not friends.
Sure.
At least it appears that way. It doesn't seem like everyone's good with each other. It seems like that relationship's over. Yeah. Like Bailey and Alex, who became really close, do not seem like friends anymore. Jeremy and Alex do not seem like friends anymore. And it's just a couple of men who just really fucked
And really who lost out on all this is Bailey, because it's like Bailey's there feeling dissed by the boyfriend, lost all her friends. Jeremy at least still has like Dale and people supporting, you know what I mean? So it's like, it sucks that she's the one that lost out the most, even though the whole thing was around her. So anyway.
Even though I think that Bailey is like, I'm good with my boyfriend. That's why it's like we just, I just want the best for Bailey. That's all, and I'll leave it at that. But that was spicy, Evan. It got spicy, and people were coming in.
It came out of nowhere too. Everyone's like, we had a great time, and all of a sudden, like, bam, and they were fighting hardcore.
And then that kind of led to conversations too about then the Brian, like, hey, where did the energy switch?
Yeah,
we were coming hard for Brian, but now what, you're gonna come for Jeremy? And it's like, well, yes. Yeah. Because we realize that even though does Brian seem like the guy who did it with good intentions? No, but it's not about Brian.
Right.
It's about Jeremy. We're missing the point.
Again, there was a lot of scapegoats there. It was like perfect for him to kind of just keep leaning back.
Or as Huda would say, scapegoats.
Scapegoats. All right.
Let's move on and discuss the Parliament of Paradise, Sean
weird,
and Allyshia
icky vibes, right? Because it was
Kat.
because everyone else is still operating in like a real space, it feels like, or at least somewhat of an honest space. And then you have Sean and Allyshia come on. It's very cold, very calculated energy, but also not really thought through. So there's a lot of like moments of passion where they would kind of snap, but then get back to like this kind of like, we've thought through everything. It's a weird vibe. Like very weird.
Remember when Kat said
like it just
later?
made me feel like, yeah, I felt.
Kat said later, you guys are weird. And I'm like,
again,
normally I'd be like, that's not nice, but it was an uncomfortable vibe.
To make Kat look, again, you guys, to make Kat, who has famously been the one running off the handle, her, the most sane person in the argument, is truly, I mean, you guys are.
It's wild.
Wild.
The behavior is wild. So first of all, Sean is 100% being like, I created this show. He's like, the fact that you're welcome for the name, the Parliament of Paradise.
Loved talking about the t-shirts.
Loved.
He wouldn't stop talking about it.
He was just like, well, if I'm going to get paid for the t-shirts you guys are selling. And then he literally goes, you want to hear how he figured it out? So we were in ITMs. We were workshopping.
It's like, oh.
They were talking about Jury of Peers. And I go, Parliament of Paradise. Boom. He's like, I was like Charlie Day and Always Sunny. I'm
by
like,
the way,
this is
by the way, they're selling t-shirts. Yeah, we heard you the first 4 times. You know they're selling t-shirts. They would just like anyone.
He was so proud of that name. I told you when we were watching it, I'm like, he's said it so many times. You know, the pride for the name is just oozing out of him.
And it was the best part of it, the name. That was the only good thing that he did with that whole thing was the name, because my God.
It was when you think of a great name for a company and you don't know what the company is.
Yeah, or you used to have a
yet.
band name and you're like, I don't even know how to play an instrument. That's basically him. He had the band name and he's like, I gotta learn how to play guitar now.
That's the perfect example. But he feels he's, feeling very good about the Parliament of Paradise. And he was like, here's the bottom line. I wanted to turn this into Survivor. No one else did.
Right.
He's like, I'm operating on a different level. I wanted to make this entertaining for you people, and the rest of you all just decided not to care about that, making it entertaining at all. So I did what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I knew we were going to be on the outs. I knew it was going down. So I just, I just gave it a swing. And that's when him and Kathy got into it, because then they started this conversation, kind of this existential conversation about like, how do you choose the strongest couple?
Yeah.
And then who deserved the money more, which was a whole other thing where Jeremy and Bailey are like, well, we want to travel. And it was like, yeah, but she has student debt. And like, can we not understand? It's just like, it was a lot. It got twisted and felt, and, but they're talking about who's the strongest couple.
Yeah.
And then Kathy's like, well, yeah, that's when you, Sean, came to me and you were saying that you and Allyshia were the strongest couple.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's be real here. Jess and Spencer are. And that's when Sean, out of nowhere, with his little glasses on, the cardigan, doing the whole thing, being all kind of soft-spoken, all of a sudden goes, oh yeah, Kathy, that's funny you say that, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And snapped on her, Evan.
Whoa, dude. It was like such a crazy thing to say. Like,
the switch went like, ding.
And it was so it was crazy to say that, like, to anyone, let alone like a woman in her 60s. You know what I mean? Like, It was just like, it was, no one acted like that to anyone.
No.
And then to do it to like someone who's like your mom's age, and like, I don't know, it was just really like, everyone kind of went like, yo, you know what I mean?
Like she said, respect your elders. Like, what are you doing?
It was just a weird energy. It was and just also, like, and she's also like, that's
Also, she didn't say anything like cutthroat.
No, she wasn't like, and you're the worst person here.
She didn't come for him. She just said like, you guys don't have the strongest connection, which by the way, and she used that as an example. She was like, you guys aren't together. They're engaged. So clearly,
well, it's funny later
we
because
were
it's
right.
like they did this whole thing where they're like, it's, you know, his strength. And he would be like, you don't know who's strongest. Da, 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 da. And then like 20 minutes later, Alyshia's like, yeah, clearly we weren't the strongest couple. And we definitely didn't have a chance to make it. And it was just like, dude, the person you're with doesn't even agree with you. It was just very silly.
The whole thing. And then that snapping was wild. I like literally couldn't believe it. But then we kind of get more focused on Allyshia.
Yeah.
And Wells is asking her like how it felt to have the friends essentially stab her in the back. Now, this was an interesting thing to me. Because essentially she was like, that was the most devastating of everything. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought Alex and Bailey had my back and I thought they were my girls. And then they thought that they betrayed me. So essentially she's going out. She's coming back to the Parliament of Paradise with this idea of like, you guys betrayed me. She's also going out on like online beforehand and having this energy of like, they betrayed. And you're like, you guys self-eliminated. So you're making an awfully big assumption. You just walked in on a conversation. You heard Alex and Bailey talking. It hurt your feelings. Totally understand why. It would hurt my feelings too. Completely valid. But then you had the conversation with them and they tell you they're not going to vote for you. And turns out they kept their word and they didn't. They voted against their partners and they didn't vote for Allyshia. Mm-hmm. But she still carried this energy. Even while self-eliminating, she didn't even know if they voted for her or not, but she still had this energy of like, well, screw them, they betrayed me. And you're like, but they didn't. They didn't betray you. And that, in a nutshell, was the vibe with Allyshia, where you're like, there's a lot of hurt feelings and big assumptions that are kind of coming out of purely assumptions and vibes. But you're making it then like oh, they're a terrible person, even though you don't really know what happened.
Around Sean does not, it makes it worse for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And she started off kind of okay. She kind of had an energy. I was like, oh, okay. She kind of got over the crazies. She's coming back down. She's like kind of chill. And then the second she started engaging with Kat, that's when it all came up with twice the fury.
Well, because she says in this conversation about Alex and Bailey, she's like, listen, what I've come to learn is that none of you guys are bad people. Exactly. None of you had bad intentions. You're all good people. Kind of like,
oh, okay.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Next to Sean, she was occasionally correcting him and being like, well, hold on.
She would kind of tell him to chill. Yeah, exactly. So it kind of had this thing of like, okay, Sean was the wild card. She got sucked into it, but like, and then.
But that's what I'm saying. The energy that she had with like, I'm assuming they voted for me, so I'm assuming that they are out to get me, and it wasn't even true. Right. It's that type of energy, and then it's exploded with Kat, because then Kat goes, I have a question.
Oh, and that's all it needed. Because she, you know, you could tell that she was really trying to like keep it together. And she knew, and if Kat wouldn't have said anything, it would have been like, oh, we walked away, like no one having a big issue with, but she's so triggered by Kat that it was like, here we go.
Kat goes, you're talking about saying negative things about people, and I just find that to be hypocritical, considering like what you've been saying about me, and you haven't even like followed up and had a conversation with me or spoken to me.
Right, like you don't even know me. Yeah.
So, and I actually wrote that down before Kat said anything. As soon as Allyshia said, you know, everyone just, sometimes people don't get along and everyone's good. And I was like, from what I'm aware of, Alyshia's been like kind of going on like an anti-Kat campaign on the Vial files. And yet you're sitting here going, you're all good people. And I'm like, I have a question. So Kat's like, I have a question. Right. This is hypocritical. Why are you coming for me? And then that's when we start to find out that basically Allyshia this entire time has been like, insecure with her and Kat's relationship. So basically she's like, day one, I walk in, you want a photo of all the women
without her in it,
and you ask me to take the picicture, which by the way, that's brutal.
That's a Kat move if I've ever heard about it in my life.
That is brutal.
That's peeing. That's peeing in the corner. This is my room. You're lucky to be here.
An unnecessary power move. That would piss me off too.
100%.
I walk in, I'm the new girl, and you're like, can you take the picture for me?
100%.
I mean, that is wild behavior. But you know what? are we surprised about any of this? No. Alyshia's talking about, yeah, Kat, you made me feel this way. You didn't try to get to know me. You talked to the staff at the resort in a belittling way. And I'm like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I would have taken the picture, but I would have cut Kat out. Like just
a little.
If she was on the edge, just done a little bit where you like see half of her.
But like, are we surprised that Kat
Are we surprised that these two didn't vibe? Yeah. I mean, no. We're not surprised at all. Are we surprised at all that these two, that there was an immediate like competition, weird energy between the two of them? 0%.
But also, are we surprised that Kat is like
not
is not nice
warm
to servers?
0%.
Kat is like such the energy of they put it down and Kat looks at the server and goes, "It's not what I ordered," and goes back. And even Kat turns around and she's like, "I'm sorry."
And people are like, "Well, I do." And then she's like, "Exactly." And like she cut everyone off because everyone kind of raised their hands.
She turns around and she's like, "Does anybody else feel this way, that I made you feel this way?" And everyone
goes, "What?" Exactly. And it was funny because then they cut to Alex later, and Alex is like, "Well, so kind of a little bit. Sometimes you can kind of be a certain way because and I get it, like it's your personality, and we love it. It's our favorite thing in the world is your sense of humor because it's so amazing. But it can be slightly the rudest person I've ever met, Like,
and
it
then
was very
Jess
funny.
comes in and Jess was like, "Yeah, I was friends with Kat's ex. I thought Kat hated me."
Right.
And then Kat goes, "Yeah, Jonathan thought I hated him too." Here's
Kat is not warm energy.
The consensus is this: people think Kat hates them. Everybody thinks
Kat's
Kat
scary.
hates them. Kat's scary.
Kat's scary. Whether if you're a guy and you like her, you're terrified to go talk to her because you feel like she's going to take you out. If you're a woman and you want to be friends, you're afraid that she's going to mean girl you. Like she's intimidating.
She is intimidating, and you know what? She's probably not super nice.
No. Well, again, we're talking about Kat here. Up until this drama, Kat was like notoriously a problem. Mean to everyone. Crash out central, throwing cakes in the ocean on her breath. I mean, this is like no-brainer shit.
This is not a warm
But it's
person.
only because she's been one-upped that we're like, well, Kat could be a little bit of a thorn. You know what I mean? It's like, duh.
That's the thing. So you're sitting here going, okay, I completely understand why Alysha was like, I think Kat hated me and I didn't like Kat.
She probably did hate you.
She probably did.
Like you were probably correct in knowing that she was dissing you.
As two recappers here,
Yeah.
I'm like, do I think Kat was nice to people? No. I don't think Kat's I think you get to know Kat, and then once you're in her circle, she's the most loyal friend you'll ever have in your life. That's the vibe she gives me.
I don't know about that.
I do.
Maybe.
I'm gonna stand by that. Kat gives me that energy where it's like because of her past and the shit she's gone through, I have a tough exterior. I don't let a lot of people in, and once I let you in, you're my friend for like I care about you, I love you, but there's only a couple people in that little circle, and everyone else is like whatever. That's how I think.
All right,
that's my guess.
That's an opinion, and you should be able to have it. But
it's
again,
purely an opinion.
It's only because we're on the other side of this that we're like, isn't it crazy? And it's like, no, dude.
But what was wild is that Alysha, became so obsessed. And it's, again, what we said before. I think it's the combination of she had a crush on Dale. Dale was in love with Kat. Kat made Alysha feel small. And it then made her more angry because she was already in love with Dale. And then Sean, who she's coupled up with, is obsessed with Kat too.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone around me is obsessed with this woman who also like kind of looks like me and serves me, and yet they're all obsessed with her, and it just like reeked of like, now I've become obsessed with her because I must get to the bottom of this. Because even there was a comment made where Alysha was saying to Kat, like, every night I'd come back into Sean's room and we'd talk about you. And I'm like, that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
You said every night we came back. And so that's probably Sean saying, I love Kat, she's an amazing friend, da 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 da. And then Alysha saying, she made me feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
She was mean to me today. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about Kat every night in bed together.
Yeah. And she wants everything Kat has.
And then
so
Sean
if
wants
Kat doesn't
to
have
date
the perfect reaction,
Yeah.
you're going to hate her. So the fact that
And then Sean wants to date Kat.
Exactly.
So Alysha then ends up, they start getting into the receipts of this ex-boyfriend situation. Allyshia comes out of the clouds, and after Kat denies something is like, okay, would you take a polygraph about that? And Kat's like, sure.
Yeah.
And she goes, great, I have one ready for tomorrow. Best FBI agent in California, polygraph, 10 a.m. tomorrow. And everyone's like, oh.
That's insane. To be like, wait, you were waiting for this conversation, thinking that she was going to defend herself, and then you were going to be like, prove it, and she was going to agree to, like, what are you talking about?
It's wild.
It's wild to not think how insane that makes you look.
It's wild either way. Either if she actually booked a polygraph, that's a bananas. It's also wild if you didn't and you were just using that to prove a point. That's a wild way to try to prove.
So weird.
Like, what are you talking about?
It really is.
And Sean's just sitting next to her like, yep,
Sean's like,
we've
yes,
got the 10 a.m. polygraph.
I mean, it was super interesting because I feel like we always refer to this type of moment or these type of people as pineapple pizza guy. Because there was this guy, we might have mentioned him a long time ago, this random guy that we knew a million years ago, very briefly. He was hanging out with us at a thing. He walked in, he didn't know anyone, and someone said, does anybody want any pizza? And he just goes, yeah, pineapple pizza. And if anyone doesn't like it, here's why you're a loser, blah, blah. And we were always just kind of like, geez, who is this guy?
So we were trying to order pizza and nobody else wanted pineapple pizza. And so we had said, we're like, hey, how about we put pineapple on like half of the pizza? And he's like, no. And he's grabbing the phone. He's like, put pineapple on all of it.
And then
but he was
if
very
anyone says they didn't like it, he would be like, you're a loser if you don't like it.
And you're an idiot.
Just didn't read the room. Insane.
Aggressive.
No one liked him. Weird.
Yeah.
Trying to kind of prove a point, but like, so anyway.
Just made us all kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. They're pineapple pizza people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're like, it's that like, you're not getting that, like your point is not getting across. Just your bizarre behavior.
It's making everyone uncomfortable.
And abrasiveness. No one's on your side now. Even if you had a point that was true, no one's on your side. And the fact that you're obsessing over like, she had a boyfriend and she's going, no, we just talked. And Andrew's going, I mean, people just talk. I went on dates right before this. Like, it's making you look unhinged because it's like, why are you spending so much time in someone's personal life trying to dig up dirt to see if you can get Dale to not like her anymore? But that clearly didn't work. So you're coming back to hopefully, I have the receipts. Maybe, well, actually, we don't really. Actually, you're kind of right. It's like, what was the point of this?
Well, the fact then that Kat and Alicia's like, let's bury the hatchet. And Kat's like, I apologize if I made you feel like I wasn't nice to you. I've been working on that my whole life. It's something that, whatever. And Dale's next to her like this.
I was like, can we be done?
And they're like, hey, we're good.
Yeah.
And then they get to the ex. And Wells like, do you and Sean regret bringing this up? And Allyshia goes, I have no regrets.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Right
like, we're good. I love you. Actually, never mind. Shing,
so their whole point was that she had this ex.
Yeah.
And that their plan was that they were talking and hooking up beforehand. They were together. They went on as a couple. She was sending him messages from a laptop or iPad or something.
Yeah.
And then their plan was to get back together at the end of this.
Right.
Okay. Kat, I do think this is funny. Kat vehemently denies that they were dating or that she had an iPad or laptop. She doesn't deny the plan to get back together at the end, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably the case. She's like, I'll go on, and just have a good time and get some more followers and vibe out. And then I'll get back together with my guy who I'm casually dating.
Let's be real.
Not shocking at all.
Many of us have exes.
I bet Dale was dating a few women right before it went on. Are you out of your mind? Of course.
And it's like, I bet many of us have had exes where you are on and off again.
100%.
And you aren't together, but you're still talking. And then you have a couple sexy conversations about like, we hook up before you go away.
Yes.
And then it's like, maybe when I get back from my European trip, we'll start dating again.
Exactly.
So probably there were conversations and texts like that exchanged with this ex, like a sexy convo, then being like, well, when I get back from paradise, maybe you and I can hook up again.
Yeah.
Right? I think everyone knows that feeling. And so like you were saying, they're hounding this. She's not denying that because it probably is true, but that doesn't affect really what ended up happening with her and Dale. And I found it interesting then too, that Jess came to her defense and Jess said, I was friends with Kat's ex.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to support Kat because I thought Kat hated me. And I can tell you that they were not dating.
Right.
And then when ultimately they ask for receipts.
Doesn't have it.
He doesn't have
So it's like you're going into all this with no receipts is the craziest thing. Just be like, well, I talked to him and he said that they were like kind of hanging out before. So like,
especially too that you go and being like, we have receipts.
Yeah,
Both
and
of
then
them
no
are
receipts.
like, we have receipts.
And the receipts are just them like nagging this guy. And then the guy being like, well, yeah, we were kind of seeing each other before. That's the receipt.
It just makes me giggle so hard that they like left the show, got dinner with him, and they were like, give us all the information. They're writing it down furiously. And then when they're like, hey, give us the receipts, he goes, I don't really want to be a part of this drama, so I'm not going to give you the receipts.
And then the fact that they don't go,
let's
let it die there. They bring it back into the show. It's like,
Sean's like, he doesn't really want to be a part of this.
Wait, what's the point of still bringing this up? You know that Dale's with her. They're locked in. I don't know what is the point of it. They just keep, they really are the king and queen of... They should write a book on how to make yourself unlikable in 5 minutes or less. Because of Kat's history, if Allyshia would have moved differently on that show, she could have walked away with people being like, Kat sucks. If they wouldn't have done what they did, she could have hit the reunion and been like, I'm going to talk about how mean Kat was to me. And people are like, oh, dang, Kat hasn't changed. Exactly. We don't like, it could have been so different for them. Well, because you started it when she first started talking about it, you started to be like, oh, that's kind of sad. Well, and it was. It is. I mean? And then I'm not defending someone being mean to another person. But then you take a left turn into polygraph mode and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I don't know if I can believe anything you're saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was a nightmare. It was nightmare fuel. It was insane. Oh my God. That was wild. Yeah. So those two, we had a lot of juice. Yeah. And if you haven't watched it, I mean, I would suggest it is an entertaining watch. The second half. Just speed up to like 25 minutes and then it starts. Second half is spicy with those two things and hearing everybody's reactions and opinions and the way that, I don't know, just blew me away watching everybody. Like people would be talking on the mic and then right next to them. Have a conversation. Like there was a scene where Kathy and Keith are having an emotional conversation about how Keith is actually really connected. Like he talks to Alex every day. Like this last Thursday, did you see? And just like he talks to Alex every day, so sweet. And then Dale and Kat are sitting in front of them having a full-blown conversation. Yeah. But there's nothing shocking about that also. But everyone was doing that. Yeah. Where I'm like, you guys stop talking. Just stop talking. But I'm trying to think, other than that, there was another person who didn't take accountability, Brian. Yeah, but he didn't take accountability about the color thing. He was basically like, I thought we were going to have alone time, which I understand. Yeah, he was just annoyed with the day and how it went and the alone time. And he thought they were going to be alone. And then Paris's like, can you just turn it on for 10 minutes? And he couldn't. And then it caused a whole thing with them because he probably just wanted to have sex. And he was upset the cameras were there, blah, blah, blah. Didn't take accountability. He was just like, my favorite color is fuchsia, shocking. But I don't know what color it is. Yeah. And then Wells is like, did you guys... But after all this, they were literally saying we were traumatized. They said numerous times, like, it was really hard for me after the show. Numerous people. And then Wells is like, did you guys have a great time? They're like, it was the best time of our life. Exactly. And you're like, all right. Like, it's the excuse train. It's like when I need an excuse, it was really hard for me. But I will say, regardless of how you feel about the way that this season went, a lot of couples still strong walked away from it. So I don't know. Yeah. Paradise still paradises. Yeah. There's a bunch of couples still together. Mm-hmm. More so than Love Island. Should we talk about Love Island? Please. Let's do it. So now let us move on and scene on that season of Bachelor in Paradise, and let us move on to the Love Island reunion, which was not so successful when it comes to couples walking away together. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Not even close. So let's get into Love Island reunion, which happened numerous moons ago. So let's talk about the hot spots, but I'd also like to talk about where the couples are at now compared to where they were at the reunion. No one's together. It's a wasteland. From what I heard. Is there anyone left? So let's go over this. This is again. This is not the one where who's together, who's not together. You go with who's together. For real. So I could be very wrong because we're recording this one day and these people move so quickly. Every team might have come out within 24 hours of recording this. So just bear with me. And there could be some news that I'm missing here. So when we see the Love Island reunion, of course, we have Amaya and Brian. Yep. Our winners. Hey, everyone was like stoked because Brian's with Amaya and we worship at Amaya's feet. Okay.
They were together on the reunion, but they said that they had been dealing with rumors that he was being unfaithful. And he brings up a time where he was bartending somewhere and he wasn't wise, had some indiscretions.
That's a great way to do it. Are you cheating? I was unwise with my body and mouth. Oh, okay. That's a very cool way of saying that. I was unwise with my tongue and mouth and with someone else's. But, unwise is epic.
But I didn't think he said unwise, but he was like,
it was something like that,
indiscretions.
Yeah, it was.
Or something.
I love this. It's like the, describing your job with like some super technical way. You know what I mean?
And they were like, well, what are the indiscretions? And he was like, well, I was pouring shots for people that I probably shouldn't. I go, that's what I was.
No, if you're a bartender, that's how it works.
Sweet Amaya is like, no, we talked, but you could tell during this. I don't know if you could also feel this, but Amaya seemed uncomfortable the whole time.
There was a sadness.
There was our love bug. Amaya
who's usually the queen of bubble.
There was a heaviness there.
Just, hey,
and she seemed quiet, and there were numerous moments where like she felt sadness in her eyes, and like it made me feel sick to my stomach because she is our bubbly queen, but she's also our sensitive gangster. So I was getting the energy that like they were going through it, and she was putting on a brave face to like process things, and I don't like that. I don't want her to have to put on a brave face. That's why I want her to be the damn Bachelorette. I want her to find love, because since the reunion aired, they are now officially broken up, and from what I'm aware of, the rumors continue to swirl that he was cheating on her, but I think he denies it, and I think she has not talked a lot about it. Like, I think she's made a couple comments that are like, oh my god, what? But
either way, they're not together.
They're not together anymore. So that's why you all should have made Amaya the Bachelorette. Papaya supremacy forever. Make her the Bachelorette, please. Another couple we have is Pepe and Iris. Now, on the reunion, Pepe and Iris are together.
Seem to be going great.
They seem like they're coasting, other than the fact that they both have different definitions of what being exclusive is.
Right.
She thinks it means that if you're exclusive, you're just seeing the other person, but you're not officially boyfriend, girlfriend until someone asks to be boyfriend, girlfriend. Don't know what that means,
but yeah.
Okay, Evan, I want to talk to you about
It's
something.
like, what does that even mean? No, exclusivity, if that's what you mean by it. Like, isn't that the whole point?
I have a question for you. And oh my God, I feel like a boomer saying this. Please forgive me. To the youth, forgive me. Because I think Gen Z is incredible.
Okay.
Like, I'm one of those millennials that I'm like, Gen Z's doing it better than we are.
Right.
Look at like, they're discovering things about themselves. They're understanding real history. They're standing up for justice.
Right.
I do feel like the younger generation is better. The one thing that I am feeling now, a bit of a disconnect where I'm not getting, is the way that we're defining relationships, like on a show like this or out maybe IRL, because I felt like everybody was exclusive but not in a relationship. And I get that being exclusive is different than being boyfriend, girlfriend, but I'm looking...
Is it?
Yeah, because I understand that like, hey, I just want to let you know...
What's the difference then?
I think it's like, I'm not dating anybody else, but I'm not ready to be your boyfriend.
Still don't get it.
Here's my thing. You guys have been spending every day together for months. I'm looking at you, Ace and Shelly. Ace, you've been with Shelly essentially from the beginning. You left together. You're still taking it slow. You say you're in love with her, and you still haven't asked her to be your girlfriend yet. What is this a generational thing? Did we just make people...
Is girlfriend the new fiance?
Maybe. That's what I'm saying. Are we missing something? Because I feel like back in our day when we were younger, you'd become boyfriend, girlfriend, left, right, and center. It was just like,
you had a girlfriend in a week. You know what I mean?
It was literally, it's like, oh, we've gone out on about, 10 dates, and now we're in a relationship, and we're boyfriend, girlfriend.
If it's decided exclusivity,
yeah,
that's your boyfriend or girlfriend,
right?
Right? It's like, Not just a
extent.
decision you make for yourself where you're like, I'm not really seeing anybody else right now. I'm just seeing you. That's kind of like happenstance exclusivity. But when you both look each other in the other eye and you're and you want a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
And you both go, agree. We're not seeing anybody else. We're only seeing each other exclusively. What is the difference between that and a girlfriend, boyfriend? I don't understand.
I don't get it. I don't understand. That's what I'm saying.
That is your girlfriend, boyfriend, and then you could break up. But it's
I think you might be right. I think generationally, boyfriend, girlfriend is now like basically getting engaged.
Maybe it's a TV show thing that I feel if I say this is my girlfriend or boyfriend on the show and as a well-known person now, I am accepting drama if we break off. And I'm also kind of turning down all options. So maybe there's a little bit of like, there could be some other people. I might get some more benefits out of this whole fame thing. If I say they're my boyfriend or girlfriend, I've now turned the faucet off of possibilities. And if I do anything wrong, it'll be highly scrutinized.
Okay. In the YouTube comments,
I'm trying to be like
in the YouTube comments,
here.
If we have any Gen Zers listening, maybe even a Gen A, I don't know where Gen A starts age-wise, maybe too young to be listening to this, but Gen Z, let us know, is this like a generational thing or is this just a TV thing? Is it them trying to make sure that they don't get like caught in drama and they're being like hesitant about it?
Have you dated someone for a year exclusively and they're still not your boyfriend or girlfriend?
Let us know if that's a thing, please. Because listening to all this, I was like panicking listening to it being like,
it's like, dude, if I was dating someone and I was with her for a year exclusively and I still wasn't her boyfriend, I'd be like, this is insane.
That's what I was saying. So I don't know. Yes, just please let us know because I was listening to this and I was kind of feeling panicky listening to it because I was like, what's going on? So Iris is like, you need to ask me to be your girlfriend, which by the way, I get. I get the difference. I get the difference between being like, hey, we're exclusive versus you looking at me and saying, you're my girlfriend.
Sure.
Because that feels more.
Asking someone to be your girlfriend is very funny to me too. Like after the age of like 13 to be like, will you be my girlfriend? It is funny when you're partner. 27 to say that.
I know.
It makes me laugh. So when they would do it on the show, they're like, and then they're celebrating like they got married. It's very funny to me. Very cute.
That's true. Well, listen, so Iris and Pepe, everything looks all well and dandy, all good, and they're coasting. But like literally almost the day after the reunion airs, TMZ catches Pepe and they're like, are you and Iris doing well? And he's like, yeah, we're broken up. It is what it is.
It makes it sound like they were they had probably stayed together for the reunion or something.
I'm just gonna say this, everybody. All these people broke up like the day after the reunion aired, and it smells of maybe
you couldn't say anything until the reunion.
Maybe
aired.
Love Island Peacock was like, we want to make it look more successful
100%.
than it was, so you're not allowed to say
100%.
something. So maybe don't come for some of the people where it's like, hey, maybe they didn't want to be together anymore, and they were like in their contract they had to. I don't know, but Pepe says it in public TMZ, which to me is not cool.
Right.
This needs to be you did this together. This needs to be a dual announcement together, not some like you just say it on the street somewhere with a paparazzi.
Got it.
And then Iris made a public statement, but then people were seeing that Iris unfollowed Pepe. Iris's friends unfollowed Pepe.
So there's maybe some more drama
Iris liked
there.
a couple comments that was like, oh, you deserved better.
Ooh, interesting.
Pepe? If you cheated on Iris, I am so upset because you know how I was head over heels for Pepe. And I was like...
He seemed great.
Well, and I was also just like, there are men like this out there still? Like, you're handsome.
Yeah, you're looking at one.
And, of course.
The new Pepe's in town.
But it's like...
Yeah.
You tricked us if that's the case. And it's like, are you out here or you have... But there was a woman that was like on some Snapchat being like, we hooked up, but there's no evidence to it. I don't know. So there's...
Either way, not together.
Not together. And it looks like maybe he cheated.
Together.
Same thing with Brian. It looks like all these men fucking probably cheated.
0%.
And I'm so angry at all of them. And then, like I said, of course, we have Ace and Shelley, who are at the time they were together for the reunion, but they were saying they're not official. And I still think to this day they are together, but not official.
Well, I mean, it's insane.
It's like these two will
They're
never
gonna have
be
kids
official.
and be married and be like, we're officially not truly together. We are just dating. Like,
They started day one.
What else do you need to know? Maybe it's a moving thing. They look at like boyfriend and you have to be close to each other.
I don't know. I just, the dynamic, it's like the man could not commit from day one, but we did end up finding out during the reunion that he's never had a girlfriend before. I don't remember hearing that.
Right.
So it's like he's never taken the step
Right.
And it's like, I want to know how many women he's been with for like 2 years, but he doesn't consider them his girlfriends.
Right. You can say you never had a girlfriend if you never said it.
They also on the reunion went through the clearing up of how they knew each other, because people said that there were theories that they went on this show together.
In cahoots, the whole thing.
In cahoots to basically win it, and they've known each other for a long time.
Exactly.
Their fellow contestants were like, that's ridiculous. You have to go through like 15 interviews to get to this. To be able to pull this off would be wild.
Yeah.
I believe Ace and Shelley in this circumstance, because you have to know too, the casting pool, it's not surprising to me that people know each other, because when you kind of get behind the scenes, the casting pools are smaller than you'd think.
Yeah.
These people are already like semi-influencer-y, hanging out in like model groups, going to similar parties. Like Ace already had a big following. Shelley, I think, was like a model. So there's going to be crossover with like the events that happen and I don't know. I don't think that they planned the entire thing. I believe that.
Yeah.
And then, hey, Taylor and Clark still going strong. And guess what? They're still going strong.
That's amazing. I mean,
the couple that we were like,
the couple were like, whatever. But I mean, listen, they had the least amount of like interpersonal drama.
Yeah.
So it seemed like, and they're both super chill.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to that.
Well,
just both super laid back. Just kind of let it roll.
It was the couple, obviously, that America was very upset at because of Taylor's actions. Again, kind of a similar, like not that I'm comparing Taylor and Jeremy, by the way, but like how Clark got tons of audience hate, even though Clark didn't do anything.
Right.
I think it's a Bailey thing where it's like, you're getting audience hate because of the man's actions.
Sure.
So let's not do that to the women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these two, she's been going out to Oklahoma. She's been going and seeing him. What we did discover on this reunion via conversation, and you were right, we found out that Taylor was never physically attracted to Olandria. And you said that from the get, and I was like, there's no way. But you were right.
You don't turn that quickly to like Clark if you're not, you know.
Well, you were saying though too, when we were recapping it, you were like, I know that they're talking about taking it slow, but the way in which he's interacting physically with her is like someone who's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like besties, but just not physically.
And that really broke my heart for Olandria, because like she was saying, it made her feel like.
Oh, no. So, I mean, that sucks.
And that to me is like my ultimate issue with Taylor, is that I understand, you know, trying to make something work with someone that you have a friend connection with. And then turns out someone else walks in that you're like physically super attracted to. But you used her
kind of to stay on.
You used Olandria to stay on, and you weren't. And even let's just say you were trying. You messed with her
head, because then by that time she was still kind of like trying to make it work with you two, and she still didn't really know what happened until so. And
when you're trying to make it work, let's just say he was really trying to make it work because they had a great friend connection. You still are not being honest with somebody.
Yeah.
And then we find out that he had communicated that how he felt with the men. Exactly. So now it's like Olandria's walking around. A group of the people know that he's not physically attracted to her. She doesn't know that. That makes you feel horrible.
I mean.
And so that's where it's like Taylor fucked up big time.
Big time.
And he owes her a big apology. And I did not feel like he delivered a big enough apology on this reunion for that specifically.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, but you're my dog. You'll forever be my dog. And she looked at him and she's like, okay.
He's like a loser. Yeah. I agree.
Well, the other couple is Nick Olandria.
Yeah.
Still together.
Or whatever that means. Kind
not
of same
together.
Thing. It's the Ace and Shelley thing where you're just kind of like together, not together, whatever. But the fact that they're even together, not together means something.
Well, look at all these other people who left in like a quote unquote exclusive relationship, and they all broke up, and Nick Olandria still going strong with whatever it is that they have, which is.
And Nick really did play the show perfectly, because he could have had a lot more hate and drama go on than he did. And he just kept his head down. He then ended up with one of the sweethearts of the show, which was Olandria.
The Queen, yeah.
And at the reunion, didn't say anything controversial, smiled, and at one point just said, I agree with whatever he says, and then was just like smiling. Like he really did make his way out of this thing clean as you could be, and could have been a real problem. But man, did he escape the clutches and maybe the most blameless escape you've ever seen.
And even when they brought up Sierra, because
Yeah.
Sierra wasn't at this reunion.
I think it was the fact that she wasn't around and that she was also wiped from the show.
Yeah.
That also saved him from having to come to terms with any of his shit. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it was just like...
But even the way then that he addressed the Sierra thing was as like he didn't go into detail. So basically they were like, have you talked to Sierra since?
Like, no.
And he was like, no.
Right.
All I know is that she's out there posting about, she's like in Greece posting about how her boyfriend and best friend, look at them now together.
Yeah.
And and he shut it down quickly, which by the way, just to then touch base about the Sierra piece, obviously Sierra wasn't there. But as far as I'm aware of online, Sierra addressed the racism.
Yeah.
Right after it happened, but then like went on social media and just continued to like talk about like Nick and Olandria and T and her like outfit of the day.
Sure.
And it was like we had one comment. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't stay on the train long enough, but what it looked like to me is like it's a quick addressing of...
It's like in the middle of a get ready with me.
Well, it wasn't like that, but it was like right after it. It was like, oh, let me address my racism and I'm going to try to do better. And since then, from at least what I've seen...
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
it wasn't
box
taken,
checked.
unfortunately, you know. And again, I wish on this reunion, again, another opportunity where they could have talked about. We had Alyshia, we had Sierra, and I think there were other maybe contestants too that there was stuff bubbling up where it's like this could have been, again, literally just a piece of a conversation about why they were removed and a conversation about racism. And yet here we go. We just didn't. We just acted like it didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Typical reality TV. Another piece is some of the couples just that were Chris and Huda. There's no chance that they're going to be friends.
Yeah, they hated each other.
They ask Huda about if she's seeing anybody, and she says, I can't talk about it. And they said, what? She goes, I can't discuss anyone who was not in the villa with me. And they're like, why not? They're like, she's like, Netflix.
And you saw Andy Cohen get pissed there for a second. He was like, Netflix. He's like, we have. He's like, last time I checked on my network, we have the biggest show on television. He got tweaked. He was like,
well, because he knew. Let's be real. Okay, so the guy that Huda is seeing is on a Netflix on Perfect Match.
Yeah.
And Perfect Match was still airing.
Right.
So it's like she could use the excuse of like people don't know if he's with the person, but they were doing red carpet events together, and it was basically her way of being like, I'm not going to talk about it, being like, Netflix won't allow it, and Andy knew that it was bullshit, and so he was pissed.
One side note I do want to say about Andy, which made me laugh so hard, was the Bella situation. When he goes, I thought I always called you Belle A. That shows you he never watched the show.
What do you mean?
Well, because didn't they call her Bella on the show?
Yeah, but most people called her Belle Dash or Belle A.
No, but I'm just saying, like, on the show, everyone would be like, hey, Bella, hey, Bella, hey, Bella.
I know, but everyone still called her Belle A or Belle Dasha.
Oh.
Or Belle Dash
Dasha?
Yeah, because there's a dash. People start calling her Belle Dasha.
Said that maybe before the show, but like when everyone's on the show and they're talking
everyone
to
called
her.
her Belle Dasha.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Or
okay.
Belle A.
Okay, I just thought maybe, Andy Cohen got exposed for like not watching it. It made me laugh.
No, a lot of people. That's what a lot of people were calling her. But yeah, so that's where Huda's at. And I think, if I'm correct, that her and the guy from Netflix, Louie, are still seeing each other.
Nice.
And then, of course, we have TJ, who the rumor was that Iris had gone and talked to him.
Right,
People were like, is Iris cheating? They had a conversation to kind of clear the air. Well, since her and Pepe have ended, Iris and TJ have been seen out. So who knows if
there might be something there.
Who knows if they're friends or if something's cooking. Yeah. The other potential question marks were Hannah and Charlie.
Yeah.
Are these two going to make it happen? Doesn't seem
Negative.
like it.
No.
They were both like, no.
No.
And Charlie seemed annoyed with Hannah.
Yeah.
Even though he was saying he wasn't, that was the vibe that I got.
For sure.
And she was giving me the vibe that now that she's known him outside of the villa, that he's
like, there's no shot for either of us kind of thing.
Not interested.
Agreed.
Oh, and speaking of Hannah, there was a really sweet moment that Hannah had. They had the unseen footage of the elimination when the girls ended up getting rid of Hannah, and that was like broke her heart.
Yep.
They ended up showing the footage, and so it was still hard for her to watch because it was like ultimately they chose Hannah, but they kind of showed them battling and struggling, and they also showed why they chose Hannah, where they're like, well, Iris hasn't had the opportunity, Amaya hasn't had the opportunity, Hannah did jump into it really quick again with Pepe, and she'll have Charlie on the outside, and so I felt like I was happy that Hannah got to see that moment, because if I was in Hannah's shoes, that would have really wrecked me, like been like, do I not have friends in this villa? And I thought that they cared about me. So I was happy that she got to see that it was like they were hurting getting rid of her. And then she was so sweet.
She's very sweet.
She's so sweet. She was crying through the whole thing. She's like,
just
it's just
like a
making
sweet
me
little emotional doll.
She was like, it's making me nostalgic. She gets to sing and she was I'm just processing
She's
all
very
the things. Cute. She's very cute.
Like, that's the best word to describe her. It's just
She's
cute as a button.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so lovely how at the very end she was like, a lot of people were telling me that like I should hold it over everybody's head and that they're not really my friends, but like I love them and I'm happy for them and I'm grateful for our time. And
she's one of the all-time great criers too. Just immediately exploding cry and just like dating the guy the next day. It's just amazing. Yeah, she was great.
She's very, very sweet. And the fact that she was like, I'm so happy for you, Iris. You're such a good person.
Yeah.
Happy for you two together. I mean,
very cute.
Presh.
Big
Presh vibes.
Hella Presh.
There was a bunch of drama that kind of like small dramas that happened. There was like with Coco and her talking about some stuff and Vanna
but
and
really like...
and it was a little bit like like the Coco and Vanna thing were like, hey, like Shelly and Olandra, you weren't so nice to us, but they were like, we barely got to know you. We were on the other side. You guys were talking to our men. What do you think? And they're like, but actually we like you now. And it's like, it just felt, there was a couple of things like that felt like, oh, are we trying to go on podcast, have like a moment to get our numbers up a little bit, talking about the bigger contestants, some of those things. Zach K moment, same thing with Amaya. One Amaya moment that I would like to discuss that really, really pissed me off was a moment with Amaya and Ace, where Ace had the audacity to look at Amaya and be like, you know what? You went on Call Her Daddy, and then Alex Cooper posted a video after where you were talking about my height. And you know what? Yes, I think it's funny. I think it's funny you guys talk about my height, but I thought that was wrong because you are a person who talks about, positivity and not bullying people. And then you came out and did that. And I think that's hypocritical. And we're like, aren't you the one who made Amaya's life hell?
Right.
Like, what are... To have the audacity to look at Amaya and be like, you owe me an apology for making a joke clip, which by the way, she didn't even make, but participating in a joke clip about Ace being short.
Right.
And you like did what you did on the Stand On Business challenge. You did what you did when you were like in a relationship with her. And you have the audacity to be like, you owe me an apology?
Ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Was wild behavior.
That
was wild behavior.
I know. I agree.
I was like, Ace, step down. Like, this is not your time.
There, but yeah, okay.
Ace, step down for real, though.
Yeah.
This is not your time.
I agree.
Okay, like, this is... And then sweet Amaya's like, I'm sorry, I tried to get my team to take it down.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you for real, dude?
Yeah.
Again. There were some unhinged moments with Ace where Ace was like, was not... the instigator. I was a
chosen leader. I didn't want to be a leader type energy.
Where it's like, you all are grown men. Do you think I could have been the ringleader? And it's like, you know what, Ace?
You were the one who talked the most about people's relationships. Like, stop.
You know what they mean.
Yeah.
Okay? You were the ringleader.
Yeah.
You didn't force feed anybody, but you know what you were doing. And I forget who it was. I think Charlie at one point said, I started to get the energy when... I noticed that Ace was asking always a lot of questions, but then keeping his info close to his chest that I needed to be careful around him. And it was like, because he's trying to be the puppet master here. He's trying to be the puppet
master, 100%.
But then he's saying, but you're all grown men, so you're saying blah, blah, blah. Austin was sending me to the moon.
I mean, but the least shocking thing in the world was him, like, basically cheating, you know what I mean? And be like, I didn't know that wasn't cool. But I will say, like, he didn't disappoint when it came to like him being him, like him when they asked him the question in the middle of it, he goes like, what? Oh, sorry, I was checked out the whole time. Like, it's just like Austin is the like stoner fuckboy. And so like that is him all the way. 0% shocking that he like, oh, I didn't know that you said we couldn't hook up with other people. And then like that, the question in the middle where he's like, I wasn't even paying attention. I mean, hilarious. Like hilarious when he was just like, they'd ask him a question, he'd be like this. It was like loading. Yeah,
they said error sign, whatever.
It's like very like, it was just like.
I mean, took
an edible probably right before he got on there. I don't know what happened.
Bro's a cartoon character.
Complete cartoon character.
I say this allegedly, but like he had to have been high out of his mind, correct?
Like,
I don't know.
I mean, or he's just like, or he's just like a surfer bra vibe, or it's just like, what? I don't even know what's happening. You know what I mean? He's just like a caricature.
The moment where he then was like going to be there, defend your guy, your bestie, right. Jeremiah, and he goes, what are you guys talking about? Unbelievable.
He goes, I was just like checked out. And then he like just agreed with everyone else. He goes, oh yeah, I think that sometimes you just love people and you don't really love bomb them, and just you love them a lot. Anyway.
Ariana clearly was annoyed with Austin.
Yeah,
Ariana's like, I can't stand this guy. Like, I have to deal with this guy. He's like, this guy is driving me.
Probably was 2 hours late, you know? Like,
sure. And then also just hearing the way that it's just like, I didn't even know that you said that. And like, when you sent me that message, Jaden, and Andrina's like, you responded back and said you guys were on the same page. And he's like, but like the same page is like when we were on the island, we're dating everybody. So it's the same, right? What? It's like, Austin, you know what the fuck she's talking about.
The fact that he lasted this long is pretty amazing. The fact that he wasn't gone so early, the fact that he like made it all the way, it's like pretty amazing.
Well, that was the big Jeremiah moment where Ace, the ringleader, ended up admitting we shouldn't have gotten rid of Jeremiah when we did. It should have been Austin. Austin, and you know that Ace is the ringleader when Ace and Jeremiah have beef.
Yeah.
And then Ace says, I should have kept Jeremiah, and Jeremiah goes, thank you. Like, you finally said it. It was very much like the leader has said that I should have stayed. Cool. He's spoken.
Exactly. He has spoken for me.
Let's talk. So again, there was a lot of,
just
but
like
let's talk about the biggest piece of this, which is Huda. Because just like the season, the main part of the reunion was all about Huda. The biggest juice was about Huda. It's always the biggest juice is always about Huda. Whether you love her or you hate her, you have to admit it's always about Huda, okay? So let's talk for a minute about the Huda versus Shelly situation. Yeah. So obviously this was a huge drama on screen where Chris, when they're in Casa Amor, that Huda decides to take Chris back, and people were super upset because this ends up leading to the heart rate challenge, then to the standing on business, and it all trickles down to this. And people were saying then that Shelly was bullying Huda, that Shelly was with Ace and Chris and wasn't letting Huda explore Chris, and that Huda had communicated this, all of this stuff, right? It was a big drama. Well, we finally get the unseen footage of, did Huda actually communicate to Shelly that she was interested in Chris and bringing Chris back for both of them?
Yeah. We
get the footage, and at least from my perspective in the footage, Huda directly said, okay, hey, so here's the thing. I know you really like Chris, but I know you're a little more into Ace, but like, you also want to keep getting to know Chris. And like, you know, I also am interested in getting to know Chris. He's interested in getting to know me, but mostly interested in getting to know you. So I had this great idea, and it just like came to me that like, what about I choose Chris? And so then like you can keep getting to know Chris and Ace at the same time. And then I can also continue to get to know Chris. Like, what are your thoughts?
Right.
Shelly responds and is like, I have mixed emotions about it. Huda kind of cuts her off and doesn't let her say what her mixed emotions are. And she's like, no, but this is a good idea, right? Because we'd all be able to explore the way we wanted to.
Yeah.
And Shelly's like, okay. And you could tell she's conflicted, but she's like, okay. So, stepping away from that, this is my final take. Huda did communicate with Shelly exactly what her move was. She 100% communicated with Shelly that she was interested in Chris, that Chris was interested in her, and that she is bringing Chris back for Shelly and for herself. Mm-hmm. So I gotta stand by Huda in the fact that it is true. She clearly communicated that with Shelly. After watching this clip and then hearing them go back and forth, I think the feeling that I'm getting and the vibe that I got is that this is not about Shelly and Chris and Huda and Chris. The vibe that I'm getting from Shelly is that it's about the way that Huda was handling this. When Huda sat her down, she was very much being like, I've got this crazy idea. And it's not crazy. And it was very much like, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. You might hate it. You might love it. The way that Huda delivered it was basically kind of in a way of like, the energy felt like when someone is doing something that you know is for them, but they're trying to make it sound like it's for you because they don't want you to get mad at them. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
think that's exactly what where this whole thing lives and dies. I think Shelly was upset because Shelly was getting the vibe that Huda was not being honest with her, where it was like, hey, don't play the game with me where you're like, this is because I love you and I'm doing this for you. It's because you want it for yourself as well. And you're tiptoeing around. I think that's where it is. It lives and dies.
I completely agree. I think that's Huda's whole problem, the whole show.
Yeah.
It's all like double-sided. It's all burying the lead. It's all omitting the actual truth. That's her the whole time. That's her being like, someone else may be a better pancake. Thanks for nothing.
Right.
But that's her trying to manipulate him into feeling bad and that he needs to come groveling to her. You're pandering. Like, I like Huda, but I do really truly believe that the entire show was her acting out of self-interest, not being able to just stand on her own opinion. And then when someone would have a problem with it, she'd be like, that's crazy. I'm a total girl's girl. And it's like, no, like you're someone who wants to do you, but you're not honest about it. And so you make everyone feel crazy that they're like reading through the lines.
I think there was like, and I keep going back and I forget when exactly it was, but it was the moment when Huda talked to Ace and she had just finished talking to the girls and she was clearly annoyed at Ace and the men. And then she went to Ace and she was like, oh, you're my butt. Like, and I think the vibe I'm getting from Huda that I'm walking away from this with is that Huda maybe, even though she can have these big emotions, right, struggles with confrontation.
Yes.
And I think she wants everybody to like her, but she also then wants to, like, will get upset at things and wants to, you know, like, I guess any human, like, get the way that she wants, but won't be direct.
Yeah.
And so I think there's this feeling this entire time of kind of a passiveness happening. And I think Shelly does not fuck with that.
Yeah. I think her crash outs come from the fact that like she's not living honestly. So you're always on edge and then you get busted and then you freak out and you panic and you attack versus when you just live honestly, then you're like, you're settled in your decisions. You're settled in the way you move.
And I think Shelly doesn't fuck with that. And I'm not saying then that the way then that Shelly reacted was nice.
Right.
But I think it was the buildup that it actually wasn't that Shelly had a problem with her getting to know Chris. I think Shelly felt like
it's always shady. It was always going to I never know
like
what's
she's
actually
like,
going
what
on.
are you really doing?
Yes, exactly.
And
she'd be like, no, girl, we're just mean. I'm just being talking to Chris.
I don't like that.
Exactly.
And then when that moves into the
date or the dance thing
to the heart rate challenge,
exactly.
We ended up getting the unseen footage of the heart rate challenge.
It's like, oh, we're just playing a game. We're just playing a game. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? She was licking his penis.
So we saw the unseen footage and Huda licked Ace's dick. He had his
cup on
Speedo
or whatever. But again,
or
it's like that's insane. Licked it and then did like a thing where she was like in a thong or like a G-string and then like flipped her dress up and like twerked on his face. And then I think the soft core thing they kept talking about is I think because she was grinding her literal private parts on his private parts hardcore in front of everyone because they wouldn't show that.
Yeah.
And then they were like zooming in though. You could see what was happening. So she took it to like such a far level.
Yeah.
And if you're already feeling like this girl isn't being really honest with me, she's kind of shady, she's kind of not telling me the truth, and then she does that, which is so far beyond anyone else's game, you're going to be like, yeah, I can't trust you.
And I think it was one of those things too where they were like, were there actually limits that we discussed? No, and that's then when Iris brought up a great point. Iris goes, I think we should have communicated boundaries in these games.
There's a general concept of like behavior, which is like everyone's doing this fun dancing thing and then you licking penises. I mean, that's a completely different animal.
And Chris and Shelly were going at it too.
Yes.
But but Huda did surpass the level, and the licking of the privates.
That's insane, bro.
And the grinding was a different level of grinding than was happening. And it was just an overall energy. And so I think the thing with the whole Shelley Huda explosion is what's really unfortunate is I think that the biggest issue with this, and I think with the audience too, like how we're all interacting with each other, is that I feel like the actual disagreement, we're actually missing what it's really about.
Yes.
We started to make it about like a Chris verse with Shelley and Huda. It wasn't about Chris. I think it all was about something totally different. And it was about two people who have different communication styles and different triggers, where it's like Huda is triggered by different things than Shelley is. Shelley's triggered by different things than Huda is. They weren't communicating properly with each other. Huda wasn't being super direct with Shelley about like, hey, this is actually, I really like Chris. I'd like to get to know him, and works out that you like him too. So we can do that. It wasn't direct that way. And then Shelley wasn't being direct with Huda about like, hey, I feel like you're moving shadily. She took it then and then snapped ultimately because she was frustrated. I think it was just a lack of communications, boundaries, all that stuff, and two people with different trigger sets and, whatever. That's what I kind of walked away with, and it made me sad. And then ultimately, the other than big conversation was at the end of it was that Huda, the kind of the fallout then with Olandria and Shelley, Ariana even was saying, she's like, so Huda, you're saying you felt like you were bullied. And Andy said, he's like, as a viewer of the show, where were you bullied? As a viewer of the show, I can definitely say like during the stand on business, that was a lot. And I get then why she felt a certain way of course. But she then was saying, I felt more that way once I got off the show and I was watching clips. And then Ariana was like, hey, I felt like Olandria stood by you and was there for you constantly. And Ariana was like, I was there and I saw Olandria being there for you. And Olandria was like, yeah, this is my issue. I unfollowed you because right after we got off the show, myself and Shelley were receiving wild amounts of hate and racism. And she used an example that was horrific.
Yeah.
So Shelley and Olandria were getting absolutely just like full traumatized, horrendous things being sent to them. And Olandria is like, Huda, I've been there for you. Like, please. These are all of these are your stands. Please tell them to back down and say how you feel. And Huda said she was going to. And then she didn't. But she said, I was on an interview. But it's like, hey, people aren't watching the interview. Right. We meant a post. And then you didn't do that. But then when you even did say something on the interview, you kept saying, I was bullied and you were being vague. So then people made the assumption that it was Olandria and they kept coming for you. And Olandria was crying and she was like, I was living in hell because of the way people were treating me. And, Huda's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. But again, I think it was that thing of like,
well, and then someone would make a joke on the recap or on the reunion, and then she'd just start laughing like, haha, daddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't in the moment that was also another, I feel like she wasn't in the moment for any of these like heart to hearts. Like when Shelley's talking about all this stuff, when Olandria's talking about all this stuff, she'd be like, well, she'd kind of have like an excuse or something. And then someone would be like, well, this funny thing happened with da. She'd be like, I know, isn't that so funny? Like, it didn't feel like she was hearing it. She wasn't feel like she was emotionally invested in what anyone was saying.
I felt like the laughter was a little bit like, oh, good, a moment to like take the heat off of me.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
It's just like you're not engaging with like the fact that people are hurting. So it just felt
and Huda,
weird.
Dude, the shadiest thing ever was Huda was like, I've grown a lot since going off.
That was so
and
funny.
Andy goes, oh, so you're saying that in a month you're a new person? I was like, dude,
so
Andy
funny.
was not holding back with
Andy's
Huda.
like, enough. I've been on these shows long enough. I know these people are full of shit. Get out of here.
It just was one of those things too. And then in the conversation, and then we had obviously the conversation with Jeremiah. And in that one, I'd say, Huda was very quiet during that, minus saying that she was like, hey, I made a lot of mistakes. Right. I feel like Huda did own up during a lot of the Jeremiah thing where she was saying that she was like, it was completely not okay when I was swearing, whatever. Jeremiah was like, I wasn't love bombing you. The definition of love bombing is and he gave the definition and he was like, I kept checking in and you wanted it. And she's like, that's not how love bombing works, Jeremiah. It's like you can be love bombing and then ask somebody like, you're good with this. And of course the person's like, yeah, because you're showing me love. That's not how it is. But I don't know. That was the other big thing. But in general, I don't know. I just felt like it bummed me out at the very end to have that conversation with Olandria and Shelley and Huda. At the end of the day, obviously we had takes that a lot of people didn't like, and a lot of people had strong opinions about this season, which I totally get. That's what reality TV does.
Everybody's allowed to have their opinions.
You have different things, but when people are sending things to people, first of all, in their DMs that are mean, let alone racist.
Yeah, that's
it's like
insane.
Everybody, my goodness, like
let's just keep this like a stupid dating show. My God,
you know what I mean? Like, and then also too, there is then I believe an obligation when, like Olandria was saying, Huda, you have like, you know, way more followers.
Yeah.
And tell them
and
please
even,
to stand
even
down.
aside from all that being true, your friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let's say there's an obligation there, which is absolutely the case.
Yeah.
Obligation even aside.
Yeah.
Like a social obligation aside. This is your friend. This is someone that stood by you. They're asking you to do something for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's I don't know. This whole recap didn't play, in my opinion, great for Huda. Like it definitely didn't make it like, oh,
I mean, what
great.
it did do was it did qualify that, you know, with some of the unseen footage, like I said with the Shelley, that she did communicate and she did say, but it just, then like
the
I
other
said,
side of it, like the
heart rate,
that was worse.
It just displayed to me that it was like, I understand what was happening. And I did find it interesting too that Ariana, when they talked about, like, for instance, Shelley getting voted by America at the very end, like, you know, at the bottom and getting voted off, and Ariana brought up, she's like, well, your fellow Islanders though rated you high. And when you remember that, you're like, okay, so there are things some of us are seeing. Now there are things that we're observing too that, like, when we get the eagle eye view that they're not seeing, that you're like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just, the reunion made me walk away going like, I get some of the dynamic that was going down. And I think you have different people who are triggered by different things, who communicate differently, and communication wasn't popping at the moment. And then unfortunately, then you have people walking away, like not protecting relationships from audience members. I don't know. I just hope that audiences stop.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think there was a lot in that one, but
that was the main
those were kind of the main things. And we finally got to see that it was a dick that was licked. So
that was intense, bro. Like that was gnarly. I would have felt the same way as Shelley. I would have been like, dude, you're unhinged. I cannot trust you. Like, aside from everything else, that alone, I'd be just like, no, never mind. We are not on the same page. That was insane.
But you know what? Shelley and Ace still rocking. Still not official.
Still unofficially rocking.
Still
whatever that means. Well, I mean, I know for me and you, I'm excited to ask you to be my girlfriend.
I can't wait.
Because I always said it's after a certain amount of years and a child that I'll consider it.
Well, and you also told me it's after marriage. So for me,
I always
it's
said girlfriend comes after marriage.
Yeah, that being exclusive in a girlfriend boyfriend capacity comes after marriage, and so it's like we've been together for 20 years, but I can't wait for you to like ask me to make it like official.
I unofficially and not legally revoked our marriage.
Oh, got it.
So that I could ask you to be my girlfriend.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'll let you guys know in 2 years when I do it. Love
all right, family. Well, we just covered a lot.
Yeah, we did.
We love you all so much, and we cannot wait to do these cast bios starting next week. So join us for that.
Love you.
We'll see you in a week.
Bye.
Bye.